So gaining access to stands in wet swamps can straight up suck. It can be really hard, it can be noisy. You feel like you just blow the whole area up before you even started hunting. But I had a client named Eric a couple years ago show me how they set up swamp access on their property, and I feel like it's an absolutely genius idea. So this is not my idea, but I want to show you how he set up access on his property, and I'm using that same strategy to gain access to some stands on our property where we have very wet swamp. All right, this is what we're dealing with. This is a wet swamp. I remember when I was younger, we had some stands in the back. I would literally wear hip waders to get back to them, but you can imagine just how loud that was when you're falling into holes that are up to your hips. That makes a heck of a lot of sound, and it is really tough to access your stand in stealth mode. Every deer in the area knew I was going back to my stand. So we had to do something different if we wanted to hunt the back of the swamp, because we do see good deer movement back here normally during the rut. So here's what we're up to today, so we could get a quiet access and an easy access back to our swamp stands. This is going to be our main tool for the day, laying out these oak hardwood slabs. I got my brother helping me today. Now, it's going to be a pretty labor-intensive project, but it'll definitely be worth it when it's done to be able to gain a quiet access to the back of our property through the swamp. Alright, I'm good and tired, but we're all done. This was a good couple-hour project. Got it laid out. We still got more swamp access trails that we need to do in the future, but let me show you how this one laid out today. Alright, here it is. Alright, we started one going that direction because we got a stand back there we want to eventually access. We ran out of slab wood, so we'll have to get another load. But here's how this one laid out today. I mean, look at it. This is fantastic. You're just basically walking the plank the whole way back. You can see it popped up on me there, but what's going to happen, obviously this is frozen right now. These will settle down just fine. The grass and stuff will probably grow over them a little bit, but they'll settle down. They'll still remain, because there's so much surface area, they'll remain nice and solid, and we'll be able to walk right out to them when this ground is not frozen and stay high and dry. Now this, like I said, this was an idea given to me by a client, and when I saw it, I just thought it was absolutely genius. He laid out an access trail because he had some public that he wanted to access that was on the back of his property, but he had to go through really wet swamp to get there. So he did this and gave himself an access trail to get back there. And when I saw it, I can't remember exactly what he said, but it had been laying down for several years and it still looked phenomenal. So when I picked up this slab wood, I told the guy that I picked it up from, that I wanted hardwood slabwood. So this is all oak because I want this to last a very long time, because this was very labor intensive to lay all this out. So I don't want to have to do this every few years. So this oak should give us access to this back stand here for many years to come. A big thank you to Mr. Bryant Crabb. He's the one that got me a slamming deal on these on this slab wood. He's got a Facebook page, Oak Acres Sawmill, and he definitely hooked me up. I told him exactly what I wanted, and that's what he got me when I went and grabbed a load of this stuff. So if you're anywhere around Oak Acres Sawmill, feel free to look him up, and here in Minnesota, and he'll hook you up with a good deal on some slab wood, because this worked just very, very slick. I mean, I can just picture this in the summer, how I can get back to check these stands so much easier. I hate checking these stands in the summer. I always like to check them once just to make sure the tree didn't fall down or straps didn't give way. I'll be able to easily just hop on these boards and get back here. But I mean, the biggest thing is just the quietness factor. It's a pain in the butt to walk through a swamp where you potentially trip and fall into holes that are past your knees and all that, but just the ability to walk in quiet. I mean, you can hear right now when I'm up on these slabs, it is relatively quiet, and once they settle in, they shouldn't be tipping up like that. I might even come in here and weed whip down all this grass and stuff so we can walk in that much quieter. In fact, I probably will when I check the stand this summer. I'll just put the old weed whip on and make myself a trail. But this worked very, very slick. Ran out of wood with about 7 feet to go to the tree here, because there's our stand right there. So almost made it. It's all right. It's actually dry around this tree, so that won't be a big deal. All right, well, that was the project for today. You know, stuff like this, it takes some work to get this done, but this can be the difference between killing that mature buck and not killing that mature buck. We wanted to get access to this stand, so we laid out the trail. We made it happen. So if you have the time and you have the ability to do this on a wet property, I would highly suggest doing this, because it's really tough to hunt these wet swamps when we're letting every deer in the area know that we're going back to our stand. But fun project, glad we got it done. All right, y'all, take care. God bless.